Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another Monday this and that video. And if you're new to my channel, my Monday videos are just a time where I can cover a whole bunch of different topics, give you updates, answer a few questions that have come in and whatever it is I feel like talking about, and a lot of times leading you back to videos I may already have on some of these topics. So just understand that it's just kind of a potpourri of topics, though I do have many single topic videos throughout the rest of the week. So let's get to the topics of today, and I want to start off actually with the tinctures that I mentioned last week that I got started. So they've only been going a little over a week. And the elderberry spice one that I made mostly with tequila because I was just trying to get that stuff used up. And then I topped it off with some homemade wine. Surprisingly, I've been tasting this. It actually tastes really, really good. Just a reminder that it's funny how I'll say things that you can really use any alcohol to make a tincture, and people will then ask, well, can I use bourbon or can I use rum? Yes, any alcohol means any alcohol as long as it's consumable. Right? So the difference is the strength of the alcohol is going to determine the strength of the tincture and how much you really need to take to get its efficacy. So in this case, because both this one and the mullein tincture were made with mostly tequila, and then I just topped it off with some homemade wine to give it better flavor, those, because there is a higher proof alcohol, unlike wine, you're just going to need a little less of it. So a little dropper full, 1/8 of a teaspoon, whatever. Whereas if I was making these, which I do this quite often, I make my own homemade wine out of our own grapes, apples, rhubarb, blackberries, and then a lot of times I'll use just homemade wine to make a tincture. It's not going to be as strong as a spirit such as vodka, rum, bourbon, tequila, whiskey, but it still can be quite effective. You might just need to take a little more of it, maybe a tablespoon to a whole shot, to get the same effect as you would from one that's made from a higher proof alcohol. However, the other thing about it that's going to determine the strength is how much material you use in there. I tend to use a lot. So as in last week's video, I mentioned I put a whole cup of dried elderberries, and this is a quart. I finally figured out it is actually a quart, which is just shy of a liter. And I put a whole cup of dried elderberries, a cinnamon stick, a few star anise pieces, a little handful of dried ginger, and some cloves in there. But anyway, I was surprised at how good this tasted. I just wanted to try it out of curiosity. I haven't tried the mullein one yet, but knowing that if I ever again, somebody else ends up bringing a bottle of tequila over and leaving it at my house and I don't know what to do with it, it works great for making tinctures. So again, whiskey, bourbon, rum, spiced rum is one of my favorite to make a lot of extracts out of, especially when you're looking at flavor. It's my favorite one to use for making vanilla extract for flavoring, because it has a great flavor in comparison to other things. But homemade wine, you can even make extracts out of raw honey and vinegar mixed together in a 50-50 blend, and that is called an oxymel. And so that's great if you're looking for something that's alcohol free. Now I'm going to link you back to a video I did on options for alcohol free extracts. This can be for flavoring, and this can also be for medicinal uses. If you're trying to avoid alcohol altogether, even homemade wine, I recommend you go check that video out. Now, another thing is I've been doing a lot of organizing in my other room, which is my dance/martial arts studio, starting with my sewing room that Patrick had added on. And, once I retired from teaching classes, so because I was doing so many skirts and aprons and just had piles and piles of fabric, it got so quickly disorganized with so much stuff coming in, especially after my mother passed away. So I finally was able to crack down. This has been one of the great things about taking a sabbatical with my garden, is it gave me time to focus on doing a lot of organization, which I'm going to be doing a tour of that. I'll be shooting that video today, but it'll probably be a few weeks before it publishes. But anyway, in the process, there's still cabinets and stuff that are old kitchen cabinets from here that Patrick moved into there after he refinished them. And I realized I have a lot before we shut our Etsy store down, though we do still sell our homemade products, a lot of them, via email. So if you're interested in a product list, you got to email us at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. I found a lot of items that he'd made I forgot all about that were back there. Some of it, like this tamper here, he does make these to order. This is for like fermenting, and the size of this is great for any size jar, from, you know, a quart, a pint, wide mouth, regular mouth, and a gallon, half gallon jars. So that's why the handle on it is so long. And somebody had ordered that, never paid for it. Same thing with this. It's called a fermenting stick. It looks like a giant chopstick. And so some people like to use these for stirring, you know, whether it be, you know, getting air bubbles out, sauerkraut, your kimchi, your vinegar, or whatever it is. And so someone asked for one specifically years ago, so he makes those. And then I just this morning realized we still have a lot of his rolling pins. So there's a few different links here. Well, not a lot. I have 4. I have this longer one, this medium length one, and then this shorter one. So these are all handmade. And then he's got a couple of this style sock darners that he had made. And he makes the other sock darners to order. They look more like that, but are rounded. And that's the one I like to use, where it has a handle. And look, I'll put a picture of it here. He doesn't have any available right now, but he does make those to order when he has time. So typically any of these kind of items would be made to order. So it would have to be a custom order. You would email, would give you the price list, the product list, and then he'll make the order according to that, so we don't have a bunch of stock. But I'm bringing this up because this is stuff that's been here and I forgot about it. So it's going to be a first come, first serve. So whoever emails me first interested in any of these specific items, if you're interested in what this is, well, Patrick made me one of these. This isn't the sock darner, but it's made a similar, it's just not rounded on the end. But this I use for pressing out my grapes and other things. So anything you're wanting to really mash. I also like using this one in wide mouth jars when I'm putting in dry herbs and stuff, and I'm really trying to tamp them down so I can squeeze a lot in there before I vacuum seal the jar. I'll do the same thing with this one because I have one of these for myself. And when I have a regular mouth jar, I'll use that for the same thing. If you send me that email, I'll let you know any of these specific things. We're just calling this a fruit masher, but you can use it for whatever you want. But yeah, I have both. I use both on a regular basis. And then we've got the mushroom style sock darners, and then the rolling pins, and then the fermenting stick, and then other things that I make on a regular basis to sell would be like the skin cream. I have 4 different scents, because one is unscented, and then 3 scents. I make hair ties, just like the ones you see me wear on a regular basis. That's all they are, hair ties. I'll pull my hair back into a loose ponytail with them quite a bit. I'll wear them kind of like a headband like this. And then I have a few other things that we sell. I still sell seeds from our own gardens, mostly herb seeds, but I have a few things like the Chinese 5-color pepper seeds and a few other seeds like that we also sell. So if you're interested in our products, just go ahead and email me again, raincountryhomestead@gmail.com, for a product list. And if you're one of the first comers to any of these things that are already available, specifically say what it is you're interested in that email, and I'll give you the price plus shipping. A quick update on the chicks. So I did just move them out into the coop with the adult birds. So I can't believe they're only like 2.5 weeks old, but they're growing so fast. But I had them in the little box in the other room there, and they were already just getting too noisy and just seemed like they were filling that box out. So then Patrick made me that more, I'll put another clip here again. You might have seen it in a previous video of the grandbabies who had it sitting out on the deck before he took it out to the coop. Grandbabies climbing in and out of it and stuff. But it's working out to be a great little mini coop or transitional coop to put inside the main coop with the rest of the chickens, so that they can get used to seeing each other and help them integrate with the rest of the flock. And then another thing is that I wish I would have taken a picture of them, but Misfits Market had these midnight Roma tomatoes. They're organic and they were so pretty. So I gathered a couple pictures from the internet so you can see what they look like. Maybe some of you have already grown them, but I bought those just so I could save seeds from them so I can try planting them this next year, because I haven't grown Romas in a couple years, and I love Romas for making my sauces. So, and I just love the color of them. They're so pretty. So I'm hoping they're going to do good for me this year. So I saved the seeds, and then I'll be starting them probably late February, early March, somewhere around in there, depending on what the weather seems like it's going to do this next season. But with that said, I always start all of my seeds like that indoors, and we have a nice big front window, and I start them in there. Normally I just start them in the little 2x2 inch pots that typically people will start seeds in, not the little teeny tiny ones, but the ones that are about that tall and then 2 inches by 2 inches. And then I'll put them on this bench in front of that window. But with the grandbabies now, all three of them mobile, I decided this year to get these little, I had to hunt and hunt to find something that would fit perfectly in the windowsill so they'd be a lot less accessible to the grandbaby's hands, especially Rowan now, because she loves dirt. She loves to get into dirt and throw it everywhere. So I've got a bunch of these. I might get a couple more and just line them all up along that window, and I'll be starting my tomatoes and any of my herb seeds that I like to start inside. So for those who are I'm going to do a separate video on this. I'll probably shoot it today, but any hard to grow seeds, like even echinacea, starting from the seeds from my own echinacea plants, I still start them inside. So any plants that you have a difficulty just starting, anytime it's a new plant, I always recommend starting them indoors, whether it be in the house, in a warm area, in a sunny south-facing window, or I never use grow lights, by the way. I just use the power of the sun. But you can do the grow lights thing, or in a greenhouse if you have it. That way you can have better control of what it is, and you know what's in each pot, and then watch it, and it can give you a better idea. Some things you can direct seed, no problem, especially if they're already well established. But some things, a lot of those hard to grow things, just like I did with marshmallow. When I first started growing marshmallow, I had a heck of a time. I did the same thing with echinacea. I thought, oh, I'll just put the seeds in the ground and they'll start growing. Yeah, what did I know? It doesn't always work that way, especially with things that may not already be acclimated to your area. So starting them indoors, giving them a chance to grow, planting them out in maybe bigger pots outside when the weather gets warm, and then eventually putting them in the ground once they're big and stable enough to be transplanted. I find that works best for me when it comes to trying to start anything, including the echinacea. I don't know why that one just seems like it's so much more delicate than other plants, where now the marshmallow, I get it coming up everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere now, even though I had the hardest time trying to get it to grow for a few years. So once you get a plant established and it's acclimated, usually the seeds from that, a lot of times you can just plant them directly in the ground. But whenever it's something new, start it in pots inside, and that way you can watch it, you can care for it, you can see how well it's going to do. Sometimes it still might not work. I mean, it took me years doing that even with mullein, and it took getting some seeds from somebody local that were already acclimated to where I was finally able to get some mullein. Because sometimes even things that, when I do it that way, same thing with moringa, I've never got moringa to grow, but at least I have some healthy mullein plants now because of that, getting acclimated seeds in the first place. And then a couple other things I wanted to remind you of are the collaborations coming up. I really need some more preparedness stories. So these are testimonies of people of how they got into a better position preparedness wise on very little money, or people who had to fall back on their preparedness for whatever reason. A lot of people assume preparedness is all about being prepared for the end of the world, some massive scenario that may or may not ever happen, where really it used to be just a way of life to get you through hard times, to get you through the winter when your garden wasn't putting out, all this stuff. And so I'd like more real life testimonies to share with people. And that folder, I'm having a hard time keeping it full. So please send those to me. So just type it out, your own story. You don't have to, I usually don't share people's names, so don't worry about that. And then just send it to raincountryhomestead@gmail.com and title it Preparedness Testimony. Then I have another series, which is natural remedy testimonies. So you're sharing your own testimonies of how you were able to heal yourself, your pets, your families, using all natural remedies, whether it be herbs or whatever it is that you managed to heal yourself. Just keep in mind there's certain topics that are no longer allowed on YouTube. So if I get enough of those particular ones, I can share them. Like I've done already one specifically just for Rumble because I couldn't have it on YouTube because of certain things that in the more recent years they banned from YouTube that you can't talk about. So even though they're natural and they work, and some of it's stuff that we use all the time. Then the other collaboration is the food storage collaboration. So this is a photo collaboration. You don't have to describe everything in your photo because I'm not going to put all that. Just send your photos if you want. You can make them as private or as whatever as you want, just so long as they're nice, clean, neat photos. And whatever name you'd like me to attribute to your photos, whether it be the name of your channel, your first name, last initial, anonymous, or just initials, whatever it is you want me to put. That's all I'm going to put. I'm not going to put a big long description of that. And the pictures are just a fun way that we can share things with each other, because I have different topics. I have a whole playlist where I've done these photo collaborations for like craft projects, homemade medicinals, tinctures and more, fermented items, canning collaboration, where this is specifically food storage. So it doesn't just have to be stuff that you've dehydrated or canned yourself. It can just be whatever you want to share, showing maybe how you store your food, how you put it up, whatever it is. And some people even just take pictures of some of the different things that they put up, and then maybe lay it on a counter and just take pictures of that. And anything that will help kind of encourage people and give them ideas of either how they can store their foods, or the types of foods they can store, or ways that they can preserve it, and more. And so I'm getting close to having enough photos for that, but I'd still like to get a few more submissions before I start putting that video together. And then also as a reminder, and I've been trying to get in the habit of saying this, remember that your likes, your comments, your shares, all these things help, especially for us channels, mine, such as the Texas Boys and several other channels that have been targeted, and just all the sneaky ways that have been going on to prevent people's stuff from getting viewed. But you can really help with the algorithms by interacting. You know, even your dislikes help, believe it or not. So I just wanted to share all that with you, and I hope you enjoyed my this and that for the week. Remember, send me your emails with your testimonials, or if you're interested in our products or whatever it is, raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. And thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.